it's a fork. It's time to get garlic and onions in the ground. So where do we get garlic and onions? That's often a question that I get. I just ran to the grocery store this morning, ran through the produce section and picked up a bag of green onions and a couple sleeves of garlic. And I'll show you in a few minutes how we get these ready to plant. Here we have our green onions. What you do, you see I already slipped the rubber bands off as I'm talking. You just separate these out, and where it turns from white to green, that's the depth you want to get these in the ground. Here we go, we're going to plant our onions, and again, this cannot be easy. This soil, I prepped it, it's nice and loose, so we don't even need to poke holes. So just take them, stick them in the ground. I mean, this really cannot be easier, maybe 6 or 8 inches apart or even closer sometimes. The spacing is not really critical on these green onions because they're not going to form a big bulb like a yellow onion or a red onion would. So these, we just stick them in the ground, just that quick and easy. And then all through the winter, you can just clip the greens as you need them for cooking. Or if you want, what we're going to do for the pizza party days, I'm going to come on the days of the pizza party early in the morning, and I'm just going to clip all the greens, every bit of these greens off these plants. And then I'll bring them to the field pizza restaurants where you have your field trips. And you'll chop them up and eat them on your pizza. All right, the easiest way that I've found to plant garlic is prep your soil, get it nice and loose, and then you can dig individual holes if you want to, but this is the easiest way for me. I like to plant them in lines because that helps me with my spacing. And I just take a small shovel, I like this little shovel, and I just dig a little trench right along here. And if you can see this wobbled a little bit, it doesn't have to be perfectly straight. That's not really important. The plants don't care. So you just dig a nice little trench here, and I'll just come back and once I get the cloves separated from the bulb, and I'll just drop them in every 6 or 8 inches or so. Here's a sleeve of garlic that I picked up. Has 3 bulbs rather of garlic. You just pop them out of here. And how do I get this ready to plant? This is what you'll harvest, but what you'll actually plant. You take these, and this, you don't have to be gentle. You can see here. Really, you just tear into it. My 4-year-old loves this job because it doesn't have to be precise. You just tear into it, get all this loose papery skin off, and what you want is the individual clove. That's your individual clove there. That's what you're looking to plant right there. So you stick it in the ground about finger deep. You can see I've made my trench. It's about as deep as my finger, maybe a little less. That's fine. And you want to plant them. They have a pointy end here with a little hair sticking out, and they have a blunt end, the root end. Root end down, and literally you just stick them in the trench. Just drop them in. I want to save, you'll notice there's different size cloves as we go through this. This one is much larger. This one you can see is really like wafer thin. It's tiny. Cook with your tiny ones. Plant your biggest ones. That's going to give you the best yield when you go to pull these out of the ground in late May, early June. We have all of our garlic in the trenches. We've got all of our cloves spaced out more or less evenly. Close is good in this case. Literally just take our hands like a bulldozer. You'll hear me say that a lot, especially on planting days. Our hands are like bulldozers. You just come in, take all this soil, jam it right on top of it. It couldn't be easier. That's it. So we did 3 rows, 6 cloves in each row. There's 18 cloves of garlic planted. That's gonna, we plant individual cloves. It's gonna yield, each clove that we put in the ground is gonna yield a bulb with about 9 to 11 cloves on each bulb. So there, we put 18 in the ground. We're gonna harvest a ton of garlic. The return on garlic planting is phenomenal. We just planted garlic and onions, and it couldn't be better for the classroom, for the teacher who's pressed for time, because we put these in the ground right now in September. It took all of maybe 5 minutes to plant 20 or so onion plants and 20 or so cloves of garlic. And we don't touch them all the way until end of May, the end of the school year. This is it as far as set it and forget it. It doesn't get easier than this.